I was just sitting here watching this, like B-rated, zombie movie named Night of Zombies, but it had a 2023, look to it. But it just got me thinking about how, like, what if, like, just random thought, but what if the government wants people to not trust them? What if they want us not to trust them because then only the people that would trust them or do trust them, you know, through all the, backlash, through everything that's been told, that everybody thinks, they planted all this information pretty much. It's like having a friend that spread a lie about them only to see who would believe it, who would not, and who would defend them if anybody brought up the lie. So, like, think of it as that. If the government, did all that to get you to not trust them, because like they only have enough. What if, like, if something does go to happen, like the apocalypse or all that war, nuclear war, came early, and they didn't have enough supplies. They have enough supplies for a good chunk of people, but not everyone. Because you gotta think about it, like if nuclear war to happen, or this or that, or whatever would drive us to go into underground bases, um, particularly, like how much resources and how much room and how many of these bases would you need to house everybody around the world quick and fast? I mean, because you don't know how long you have until this happens or that happens, and we need to get everybody and everything down there. I mean, you would already have the supplies and materials down there, but to get the vehicles to transport everybody there, and in a short amount of time, so I just got me really thinking about. I mean, we always wonder is like like if do you think you're on the list? Because I mean, I'm probably not. Um, Especially now, if this is all true, I'm not on the list because I don't like them, and I've made it known. Um, but just got me really thinking. It's like, what if I don't know, just random thought, I guess, just to see if maybe like they started all this wildfire to see, do a psychological test on people to see who believes it, who doesn't, who questions it, who defends the lie, who defends the person the lie is about. This the psychology test and weigh out where your mind is. I mean, and they're watching everybody to see who you know worthy, I guess, to from level 1 to 5. Level 1 being not really that important, besides the fact that you're a life form, that you have life, that your life, you are worthy because you're a human being. That's level 1. Level 2 is the blue colors. Level 3 is, I guess, the CEOs. Level 4 is the ones that interact with everybody else, and the top. And the top are the ones that control everything. That's the government. All right. These are level 5. Of the value, but I mean, do you really think that you would be on that list? I mean, I don't know if the government is that compassionate where it actually trying to get some materials and supplies for everyone to build enough bases that are in safe locations, from things that they've you know mapped out that they need to worry about, between shit that the earthquakes and the vibrations and the heat of how far you would dig underneath the planet to be able to survive that the pressure underground, and that could survive whatever's thrown up there, and wouldn't weld the door shut that we need to get out, and it wouldn't it would be able, and the entrance would be able to take the force without breaking and crumbling and caving in on us to where we just end up dying. To build air tanks that's where we can either make our own oxygen down there, which that's dangerous too, because then we wouldn't worry about vents, or we would for backup, just in case that went out. That way we can have oxygen. That's if those vents are, the technology and engineering is just, right to where it can withstand any dust and any kind of particles that go to clog it or whatnot, don't get through it. And that's if they don't get smashed. They're able to take, whatever's out there that happens. But I mean, then that's just nuclear. This is just nuclear war. This is just going off of what, or even, I mean, the rapture. I mean, the apocalypse. I mean, that's completely. I mean, I think that would be a little different because that goes off of physical and spiritual kind of like outlook and beliefs. Because typically in the apocalypse, I mean, if it's here and you're still here, you didn't make the boat to heaven. So if you're still here when the apocalypse happens, welcome to the team. But I mean, if the zombie apocalypse happens or nuclear war particularly happens, nuclear war, I mean, those would be bunkers. But I don't know. It's kind of got me thinking about. I mean, even Red Dawn. Even if the Red Dawn happens, um, how would that play? I mean, I did have this one theory that, I mean, when I saw my girl about like the outlook that we have on martial law and how things could happen, and all of these you know realistic movies and fantasy and fiction kind of movies, um that I truly believe that all the kind of government conspiracies and all these sci-fi films, I mean, they throw a little bit of fantasy in there. I mean, you couldn't bring the realistic feel and vibe of what martial law really is going to look like into the movies. Um, so, but and how they have in the movies, it's not even going to be anything like that. If aliens happen, it's not going to be like anything like the movies. If the apocalypse happens, I don't think it's going to be like anything like the movies. Um, yeah, if martial law happens, it's not going to be like the movies, or how. It's not even going to be how in reality we come to understand martial law, how we believe martial law is to take place. It's gonna be, I mean, with all the stuff they have right now, there's no need to make martial law with how mentally broken the civilization has become, how spiritually lost and wandering they become, how we've become so divided with each other, whether it's friend, family, or loved ones. um, how we're divided between the countries and the states. Uh, we are so divided between the people, fighting over petty fucking stupid shit. Wow, big shit's going on, but yet we want to focus on the medical fucking shit. We want to worry about pronouns instead of the money that we're forking out to other countries. We want to worry about, if rainbow flags should be allowed in school. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they should. I don't even understand how we got here to have this argument about common sense. But I think that's all fucking part of the plan. I truly do think the feminist movement has. I mean, I think the feminist movement. I mean, if it would, I think it's killed, slaughtered, and now it's playing with the corpse of patriarchy. All right, that's what I think. I think feminists won a long time ago. I think that if it would have stopped, it would have been just fine, and we could have focused on what the feminists wanted. Now it's made it to where the feminist has killed the patriarchy, and now the feminist march, matriarchy, now it's the enemy becoming attacked by the patriarchy, and the patriarchy is coming back, or it's going to be coming back, and it's going to be coming back worse because men. You're talking about a day and age when the feminist march happened back in the 19th centuries, when guys were still more religious, morally bound, civilized, compassionate, chivalrous gentlemen. All right, that gave you ladies all these beautiful, opportunities you guys have throughout generations of life. And this in 2023 is what you came to do with it. And now the men now that have to deal with men of the past bullshit and women of the futures bullshit. Now men are like saying this is bullshit. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot worse because men are not gonna be chivalrous like the back in the day. I mean, men. Like, why would we be chivalrous when like feminist march act like you guys don't want that, and now you guys want to act like you guys do, but yet still have to blame us for not being it, or you being a female. All right, but I think all of this is played. I think all of this is written. I think everything's been. I think everything of this history is scripted. Because with how, especially with the last few years, like with how much chaos and destruction that's been going on between individuals and big circles and corporations and cities and towns and neighborhoods, the amount of just there's so much stuff that's going on in this day and age that one there has to be demons on this planet and walking among us, because I don't understand how some of these fathers and mothers are doing some of this shit to their kids. And I'm not even talking about the fucking whack nuts that want to fucking mutilate their kids to the trans, but you got the fucking one dad that shoved baby wipes down his 2 month old, I think, son or daughter's throat, and you have a mom that ate her 6 month old child. You have a caseworker that works for the hospital is responsible for the well-being of children that get taken away from unfit parents that left a child that she's fostering in the car where it's hot alone for the 8 to 9 hours, and it ends up dying. Um, I just don't understand how the police. Oh, how would I say that? How did I say that? How the police? I think the police. Okay, that's it. I think the police, along with other stuff, I think that's a test between civilization and the system. How, all right, each category, like the court systems, the police departments, um, how you interact with people at stores. Those are tests on how you deal with certain categories of the mind of your obeying, your appliant, I can't even pronounce that word. Your willingness to obey, your capability of understanding what will happen if you don't, and you have no, with people being afraid to speak about what they think. That's you're willing to fight. You're and making you feel like that because if you speak truth and loud and get angry, then that's you acting uncivilized and wrong because you get loud about something. I mean, stupid is not supposed to be acting like it's truth when it walks around with the face of a lie. Alright? So just because I interrupt you and I don't let you finish, yes, that's rude and impolite, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Because I'm a firm believer that I do believe in profiling. I think it's very productive if you use it right. And I think productive, productive criticism. I can't pronounce certain words all that well, but I'm sure most people understand what I'm talking about. But when you get in criticism that is in your benefit to better yourself, just because it hurts your feelings doesn't mean it's bad or I'm a bad guy or I'm rude. All right. Just because what I say hurts your feelings doesn't mean what I say is wrong. It can hurt your feelings and still be right and good for you. And I think that's what, I mean, one, that's what we need nowadays. But I do believe that a lot of stuff is um, a test, the test of civilization, humanity. Like I said before about seeing who is worthy. I can't really think of the right word, but worthy or, you know, cleared to be saved by the government if shit hits the fan. Um, and I mean, this can. I mean, I started this video about how what if like the government is, I kind of made it to where the government maybe not be the bad guy. They're just seeing who's worth fucking saving, who's not. But this can go back on to if it's even if they're bad. I mean, testing to see who won't, start a mutiny, rise up, who won't cause the next Boston Tea Party or the next, Civil War because the people are fed up with how the government's running shit or don't agree with, one of the laws and want to change it um, because it doesn't benefit all. Not just the people, but not just the government. Um, but, I think there's a lot of thoughts that go run through my head. But this is just the weird little thought that I had. Um, just kind of wondering a lot of other stuff, especially with how the world is getting. You guys have a good night.